How does uncertainty specifically trigger dopamine or certain neurochemical responses in a person who is interested in you? The neurochemistry of uncertainty. Why mystery creates addiction. How uncertainty manipulates the brain, the mechanism. To understand why uncertainty is your most powerful tool, you must understand that the human brain is not wired for certainty, but for prediction and reward. When a person is interested in you, their brain is constantly trying to solve you. This wayward-seeking behavior triggers certain neurochemical reactions. First, the dopamine spike, or anticipatory reward. Most people believe dopamine is released when we get what we want. In reality, dopamine is released during the anticipation of a reward. When you use techniques like the strategic pullback, you create a gap in the person's ability to predict your next move. This lack of certainty forces their brain into a state of high dopamine-seeking behavior. They aren't just interested, they are craving your presence because their brain is trying to resolve the uncertainty. Second, intermittent reinforcement, or the gambling effect. If you are always available, your reward, such as attention, becomes predictable, and dopamine levels flatten. However, if you provide attention unpredictably, sometimes warm, sometimes slightly distant, you trigger intermittent reinforcement. This is the same mechanism that makes gambling so addictive. The brain learns that a reward might come, but it isn't guaranteed, causing a massive surge in neurochemical engagement whenever you finally do reach out. Third, cortisol and norepinephrine, or the loss trigger. When uncertainty reaches the level of the hard red light phase, the brain senses a potential loss of connection. This triggers a mild release of cortisol, the stress hormone, and norepinephrine, which increases focus. This isn't bad stress, it is a biological urge that forces the person to stop being passive and start actively pursuing you to resolve the tension and return to a state of emotional safety. Step guide, how to trigger these neurochemical responses. If you want to use uncertainty to make someone unable to stop thinking about you, follow this psychological protocol. Step 1, create an information gap, the green light mystery. Do not reveal your entire life story or every thought immediately. For example, instead of explaining exactly why you were busy, simply say, "I had a crazy day," and leave it at that. Let their mind fill in the details. This forces their brain to use dopamine-driven curiosity to try and figure you out. Step 2, implement variable availability, the strategic pullback. Do not reply with the exact same speed every single time. For example, if you usually reply fast, occasionally delay your response or end a conversation while it is at its peak. This prevents habituation, or the brain getting bored, and keeps the dopamine-seeking anticipation loop active. Step 3, maintain emotional stability during their withdrawal, the red light response. When they pull away, do not chase. Stay calm and able to give space. For example, if they say, "I need space," respond with, "I respect that, take your time." This creates the uncertainty of whether you will chase or stay cool, which triggers their cortisol norepinephrine response, making them wonder if they are losing your interest. The biggest mistake, predictability, the dopamine killer. The absolute biggest mistake in any relationship is being too predictable. When you are 100% certain that you will always be there, always reply instantly, and always initiate, the person's brain stops working to find or keep you. Predictability kills dopamine. If there is no risk or uncertainty, there is no way for the brain to feel the high of your attention. You become a constant, like oxygen essential, but something they stop noticing because it's always there. Masterclass. Advice for total domination. My personal advice: do not view uncertainty as playing games. View it as managing emotional rhythm. If you are too certain, you are a known quantity. If you are too uncertain, you are a mystery. The goal is to dance perfectly between the two, so they never feel too secure or too lost. A simple rule to remember: reward, then withdraw. Always give enough attention to create a connection, then pull back just enough to let them miss it. The key truth: desire lives in the gap. The space between your message and their reply, the space between your last conversation and your next one. That is where the obsession grows. The golden rule: never let your level of effort exceed theirs for too long. If you are always doing the heavy lifting, you become a guaranteed certainty rather than a sought-after prize. The simple formula for obsession: high value plus variable reward equals neurochemical addiction. Thank you for using the ultimate edition of Love Map. Make sure to like and subscribe our Love Map YouTube channel so you will know what the latest update on this powerful AI model.